You will know them by their fruits. These are the words of Jesus. Jesus told his disciples, you will recognize false prophets, wolves in sheep's clothing, by their fruits. You will know the narcissist. You will know the malignant narcissist by the fruit that he bears. But here's the problem. We've been trained. I was trained. I was brainwashed. A lot of victims of narcissists have been trained and brainwashed as well into not tasting the fruit produced by the abuser. And when I say narcissist, I'm talking about an abuser. I used to think, when I read that verse, when Jesus said, judge people, you'll know people by the fruit that they bear. I used to think that meant their behavior, their good works. That's not what he's talking about. When the scripture says fruit, you'll know them by the fruit, he's talking about something that's going on inside of you. Something that is being produced in your inner man, in your heart. It's not about something you see around you with these things or you hear with these things. There's something going on inside of you. That's the fruit he's talking about. I could call it understanding, but it's deeper than that. I could call it an inner comprehension of something, but it's deeper than that, and I don't have words to explain what I'm trying to say. But the fruit that Jesus is talking about is what's happening on the inside of you around certain people. And I was taught subconsciously, most of it, to ignore what was going on inside of me. I never knew how to sample the fruit that was being brought to bear inside of me in my dealings with this person or that person. I would discern the character of somebody. I would discern the truthfulness of another individual by their behavior, by their conduct, by their reputation. That's not fruit. That's not the fruit that Jesus, the Anointed One, is talking about. Fruit is the part of the tree that gets inside of you. You ingest it, you digest it. It enters inside of you, you taste it, and it provides either nourishment or, in some cases, it can poison you. It can hurt you. A good tree produces good fruit. And it's good in every sense, including taste. I want to emphasize the word taste. You can't taste a piece of fruit until it gets inside of you. Taste is a form of discernment for food and drink. But there's a spiritual taste. There's a spiritual sense, a taste that we must develop. It is something that we must recognize and develop when it comes to discerning who is trustworthy in our lives and who isn't, who we are safe with and who it would be best to avoid. And in every case, the malignant narcissist, you avoid them, you get away from them. It's not a feeling, but it's like a feeling. It's not quite intuition, but it's like intuition. I don't have words to explain it, but you have a knowing on the inside of you. Not in here, not your head, in your heart. Jesus called it in your belly, in your spirit. Go by that. That's where that fruit is coming to fruition. When someone says something and it's the right words, they could be quoting scripture. They could be quoting a platitude or a mime. I get that a lot from narcs. Dear me, they love their platitudes and they love their mimes. And they love their cute little cliches and phrases. They'll bombard you with those. Most of the true narcs I know are really scriptural illiterates, but they know a lot of cliches. They're very glib. Narcs are very glib, superficial type. But they'll say something that sounds on the surface good. But inside of you, you hear it and you think to yourself, that sounds right, that sounds good. But inside of you, there's something, and something I can't explain that's communicating to you, there's something not quite right here. That's that fruit. You're eating a rotten apple that looks good on the outside, but there be a worm on the inside. Go with your instinct. I don't care if the person you're dealing with or having fellowship with is a pillar of the church or community. And they can spew out Bible like a walking concordance. If something on the inside of you doesn't taste right, taste rotten on the inside, you need to make note of that. Make note of that. Make a note of what's going on inside you more than just what's going on up here. A big one I want to talk about right now, and then I'll conclude with this, is condemnation. Or fear. I'll use the word fear, an unhealthy fear. That's a big one for me, at least. Because I've been around narcs. It took me a while, but when I finally figured out this guy I'm hanging with is a narcissist, a malignant narcissist, it seemed like everything he or she would say would produce a fear inside of me. Not peace. It didn't produce peace. It certainly didn't produce joy in me. They could be using words that ostensibly sounded joyful, sounded peaceful, but inside of me something's bugging me, and it's fear. And it's insecurity. It's condemnation. I feel condemned. I feel judged. I feel like I'm being judged. And for years and years and years, I used to think, oh, that's just me. It was me. That was my spirit trying to protect me. That was fruit. And I was too spiritually dumb to discern that. I thought fruit was how they acted. Fruit is that stuff that's being born inside of me from what a certain individual is telling me or how he's acting toward me. Condemnation, that's a big one. I'll leave it at that. I can almost say with 100% certainty, any interaction you have of any depth with a narcissist is going to leave you feeling on the inside judged and condemned. The word condemn, one of the meanings is you're pronounced guilty. You're guilty of something. God, they love guilt trips. I hope this has been a blessing to you. It is hard for me to articulate what's inside of me when it comes to knowing people by their fruit. But I hope and pray that I ask you to pray about it and judge what I say. Go to the scripture and pray about it. Thank you.